Good evening, class. My name is Mr. Sobers, and welcome to your latest episode of Happiness 101. Today in Happiness 101, we'll be talking about happiness in two subjects. First subject, happiness when it comes to humans. The second subject, happiness when it comes to animals. Now, to do this, we will be referencing the quote by the great Russell Wallace that I will pull up on the screen in just a second. So stay tuned to learn about happiness. Alright, class, so although this quote may seem difficult and frustrating to understand, don't worry. Give me a few minutes and you guys have it down packed. Alright, so to me, this quote means the following. The way someone feels is directly linked to the way that person lives. Let me further explain. When Russell mentions happiness, hate, love, and beauty, this means that it's related to the way that person lives. So let me explain with an example. This example will feature two people. One, someone that likes money. Two, someone whose happiness is revolved around their family. So, now let's take the example of getting a paycheck. So, getting a paycheck to the person who likes money will most likely result in happiness. Now, this feeling of happiness will not necessarily mean the same for this person because this person, their happiness is linked to this time they spend with their family, which means the feeling will not be the same for both. This is what Russell is trying to explain in this quote. It means that happiness is relative and it varies from person to person. Furthermore, Wallace takes a slightly different turn in his context when he mentions a wanton waste of beauty. Now, the way I perceived it is that a wanton waste of beauty is referencing the people who think that exterior beauty is what's most important. Now, Wallace qualifies this as complete waste because what's on the outside is not important. It's what's on the inside that is. This is when he references the intelligent eye. Now, the intelligent eye is the ability for someone to perceive what's past on the inside and what's on the to perceive what's past on the outside to what's on the inside, which is a very important quality to have. Alright, class, so that sums up the first part of our course, talking about happiness in humans. But now, what about animals? How do they feel feelings? Do they even have feelings? Well, that's what we'll dive into right now. So, defining animal happiness and feelings will not be as easy as defining them for humans by using Wallace's text. This is because, in a general sense, most people don't know much about animal feelings because, they don't feel like they feel the same way as humans. Now, when Wallace says that animals have no intelligent eye, he says this because, as I just referenced before, we don't really know how animals feel. Only scientists and people who study it actually know. So to the general public, animals have no intelligent eye. They don't feel feelings. They don't perceive things the same way humans feel. Now, research by Mr. Beckhoff in a study perceived in 2011 completely denies this ideology. He says that animals indeed have much emotions and relationships with other animals. It's just that they have a unique way of showing them. This is completely foreign to most humans, and this is why humans have the ideology that animals don't feel happiness. Alright, so in the next part, Wallace dives in deeper into animal happiness. Now, Wallace says that animals' well-being and perpetuation is linked to their purpose in life and what they're born to do. This is contrary, or not contrary, but different to how humans live because you can't really say humans have one goal in life. But as for animals, many animals live to do one specific thing. That's the thing that they will pretty much live to do. So I found an example from Blackiston in an article that he wrote, and to define this, he used bees. Well, as you may or may not know, bees have a queen bee. This is a crown, kind of for queen and king. Sorry for the bad drawing, but you get the point. Now, all the small little bees in the colony pretty much live to serve the queen bee. As long as the queen bee is happy, these bees have done their job. Now, Wallace is pretty much saying that, for example, in this example, as long as the bees fulfill their duty of serving the queen bee, they'll be happy. Now, we can dive even further in this. Is it linked to genetics, or is it linked to just the social aspect of the bees? Now, as some people like to say that it is genetically in their DNA to serve the queen bee, I would like to refute this idea because there's no allele or genetic information that codes for serve queen bee. It's mostly instincts and just the way that the bees live in their colonies that's due to them resulting in all of them serving the queen bee. Now, I find that this example from Blackiston really sums up how Wallace is trying to define what happiness is for animals. As long as they fulfill their job, their duty, they will be happy. So this has been Happiness 101 with your host, Mr. Sobers. I really hope that you understood happiness when it comes to animals and humans by using Wallace's quote. I hope you guys have a good evening and stay happy.